What? Why did they just ask for this and have me log in? And welcome to Wise Guys. These guys know sports. Here live on this Wednesday, August the 11th, in the house with your boy Trey Larkins from the Wise Guys Sports, live here on the Worldwide Sports Network. Remember, go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at Wise Guys _H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. Be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. You in the house with your boy, buckle up. I got an action jam-packed show ahead. I'm going to talk about the San Francisco 49ers and the quarterback competition with Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo. Also, I'm going to talk about a little bit later on the show, NBA free agency, the winners and losers of NBA free agency, and also my thoughts on Kawhi Leonard re-signing with the Los Angeles Clippers a few days ago. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that as well. So, as you all know, before we get into the show, I'm going to talk about something. As you all know, I've had co-hosts before on the Wise Guys Sports Show. You know, Clarence Nixon, my guy on Facebook. Follow him on all social media platforms. My guy, Clarence, stepped down recently, but that is my partner. We still homies. Clarence recently stepped down, but I enjoyed my time working with Clarence. Shout out to what he brought, to the Wise Guys Sports Network. Also, in the past, I've worked with Anthony Gaines, he's my brother from another mother, man. He's my guy for sure, with the high school with me. And also my man, Brian Westbrook, who I went to school with, Ohio Media School. We did stuff on Wise Guys as well. So shout out to all my partners that I've had in the past. But for the foreseeable future, at least for a few months, you're going to be on the Wise Guys Sports Show with your boy Trey Larkins on the Worldwide Sports Network. So buckle up. I got an action jam-packed show. I got plenty of content to get into, so let's get right to it. Let's start off in the NBA. As yesterday, the Dallas Mavericks, they signed Luka Doncic to a 5-year, $207 million new Supermax rookie extension. And Doncic, he's 22 years of age. And there was reports that Mark Cuban, Dirk Nowitzki, new head coach Jason Kidd, they flew to Slovenia to sign Doncic to this new contract for this Supermax deal. So this is a new contract for Luka Doncic, and the Dallas Mavericks are excited to have him as part of their future. And so obviously everybody been talking about, since he signed his Supermax contract, will Luka Doncic win a championship with the Dallas Mavericks? And with the Dallas Mavericks, I want to start off talking about when it comes to Luka Doncic, okay? Luka Doncic, even though he's great, all right? He's great. But there are some things about Luka that I have questions about and whether or not he can win a championship. But I will start off with the good about Luka, okay? I will start off with the good. And shout out to my man, Cam Chancellor. He is the host of Timeout with Coach Cam. He is a diehard Dallas Mavericks fan. He loves Luka Doncic, and he thinks Luka can win a championship with the Dallas Mavericks. But with Luka Doncic, obviously, for his career, he's averaged 26 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 8 assists per game. And the only two players in NBA history who can say, in their first 3 years, averaging 25, 7, and 7 is Luka and Oscar Robertson. Okay. Also, in the last 50 years, only Luka and Kevin Durant have been named to the first team All-NBA twice before the age of 23. Only KD and Luka. They're the only two players in NBA history to accomplish that. We know how great Luka is, okay? In the NBA playoffs this year, Luka averaged 36, 10, and 8. 36, 10, and 8, and that's going up against two of the best perimeter defenders in NBA history in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. You could throw Pat Beverly in there too because he was getting cooked by Luka in the playoffs as well. And so far in his postseason career, Luka's averaging 33 points per game, 9 assists per game, and 9 rebounds. He's been absolutely sensational. And when you talk about best players in the NBA, who are you starting a franchise with? Luka is at the top of that list. I'm talking about players like Trey Young. I'm talking about Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, De'Aaron Fox, you could throw in the mix, Zion Williamson, Donovan Mitchell. Most NBA aficionados, they have Luka Doncic as the number one player that you want to build your franchise around. And I got a lot of respect for Luka. And again, so far in the postseason, y'all know the last 2 years, the Dallas Mavericks, they've come up short. In the bubble, they came up short against Kawhi and the Clippers. They were up 2-1 at one point in that series. They went on to lose that series, I believe, in 6 games. And then, this past year, they were up 2-0, winning first 2 games in Kawhi's house in the Staples Center. And, they had the momentum in that series heading back to Dallas. And then, the wheels pretty much fell off. They went up losing. They lost 2 straight at home in Luka's house. And then you go to a, game 5, they still won again. That series was one of the most, it was ironic to say the least in that series. It wasn't usual. The away team pretty much dominated every game in that series except game 7, because game 7, the Clippers ended up winning and Kawhi took care of business. But we all know how great Luka is. But there is some things that I feel like Luka has to improve on in his game. For one, is shooting. He's not really a great shooter, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? He shot 33% from three-point range in his career, 74% from the free throw line, and that's ranked 87th out of 110 qualified shooters at the free throw line. Okay, he's ranked 87th. So Luka has to shoot the ball better from the free throw line and the perimeter. When you're a great player in the NBA, sometimes you don't have your shot, going on a particular night. Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, these players can get to the free throw line when they're struggling shooting from the floor. So if Luka want to become a better player, I think he has to improve on his perimeter shooting and has to shoot better from the free throw line. I mean, you have to improve on your free throw shots. I used to criticize LeBron James earlier in his career when he used to struggle shooting from the free throw line. He's improved, but he's still not a great free throw shooter. He doesn't shoot free throws as good as Damian Lillard, as good as Steph Curry, as good as Kevin Durant. But you have to at least be able to make your free throws when it matters the most. I believe in that playoff series against the Clippers, Luka shot from the free throw line. He went 27 of 51. Okay, that's not good from your best player on your team. So, Luka, you got to shoot the ball better from the perimeter, and you also need to shoot the ball better from the free throw line as well. Another thing with Luka Doncic, Luka can be very immature at times, can be a bit truculent, very argumentative with officials. Every time I watch a Dallas Mavericks game, I see Luka arguing with officials. Okay, and if that stays in officials' minds, you might not get the benefit, of a particular whistle down the stretch late in games if you continue to argue with officials the way that he does. All the NBA players argue with officials, okay? They all bickering with officials throughout the course of a game. But when you look at Doncic, you haven't won a championship. You haven't won an NBA MVP. So you don't have any cachet, so to speak, like a Kevin Durant has, like a Steph Curry has, like a LeBron James has, to be arguing with officials like he does. So, he has to be careful with that. Do you want to get your point across that you may be getting fouled? Of course. But be careful because you may not get the benefit down the stretch late in games of the whistle, like other particular players they may get, when they have good relationships with these officials. And the last thing, make no mistake about it, when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks, and this isn't about Luka, this is about the Dallas Mavericks as a team, an organization. They ain't winning a championship until they move up off of Kristaps Porzingis. Okay? Kristaps Porzingis has been awful in the postseason, since he's been with the Dallas Mavericks. Like, make no mistake about it, they will not ever elevate and be able to beat teams like the Lakers, like the Denver Nuggets when they're healthy, like the Phoenix Suns. They won't be able to beat those teams because Kristaps Porzingis is not a true co-star alongside Luka Doncic. And there's reports out of Dallas that, Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic, they don't have the best relationship. And most people believe that Kristaps is jealous of Luka because, Luka's in Dallas now. He's getting all the shine, the new Supermax contract that he just agreed to. He is the main attraction for the Dallas Mavericks. And, Kristaps Porzingis, he had, a career that was going in the right direction before his injury with the Knicks. We were talking about him as a unicorn. And at one point, I was talking about Kristaps Porzingis being compared to Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, he was playing good basketball with the New York Knicks at one point. And for whatever reason, Porzingis just isn't the same player that he was with the Knicks. With the Dallas Mavericks, like, there are times where I forget that he's even on the floor. Okay? Like, and I know Luka sometimes goes to the sideline. I don't know why he hasn't even asked Porzingis, like, what are we doing here? Because in order for them to be able to win a championship and compete at the highest level, they need Kristaps Porzingis to play at an elite level because the man, he's 7 feet. He's 7'3", okay? But you play, he's 7'3", and he plays like Kyle Kuzma at times. Like, he's just out there on the perimeter. He needs to get down in the low post, establish some low post moves. But overall, Porzingis has been a major disappointment in Dallas. And I'm being nice. But, that's my biggest issue with the Dallas Mavericks. Will they be able to put together the pieces around Luka to win a championship? Because, I'm not sure if this supporting cast can win a championship with the Dallas Mavericks. Because I don't believe in Kristaps Porzingis as a second co-star that you can win a championship with. They re-signed Tim Hardaway Jr., this offseason. I actually like Tim Hardaway Jr. I think he needs to do a better job, in big-time moments of hitting shots for the Dallas Mavericks. But I like Tim Hardaway Jr. as an overall shooter for this team. He can help them space the floor, hitting perimeter shots. I think he can also get to the rim as well, get to the free throw line. I like Tim Hardaway Jr. in his pedigree. He comes from a winning background. His father played with the Miami Heat, and he was outstanding for them. So I like the Dallas Mavericks. I just don't know if they're going to be able to attract, enough free agents to come to Dallas and play. But that's also an issue that I have with this organization. Mark Cuban, you ain't won a championship since 2011, bro. Your teams have failed in the postseason year after year after year. They haven't even gotten to the second round. So you live in Dallas, right? This is a state with no income tax. You got the city of Dallas, and from what I've heard, it's a great city, great sports town. I believe the Dallas Cowboys are all right, but they are one of the more popular sports teams we have, in the NFL. Okay, you there in Dallas. Luka Doncic is a top 5 player under 25 on that team. Okay, you've had in the past, you had a coach like Rick Carlisle, who's a proven head coach. Okay, he's shown an ability, that he can coach in big moments and be a championship caliber coach. Why aren't the Dallas Mavericks attracting more free agents to play in Dallas? Can somebody answer that for me? Because Mark Cuban, we know he's a billionaire, has tons of money to throw out. Why aren't the Dallas Mavericks attracting more free agents to come to Dallas to play with Luka Doncic? It makes no sense to me. All these free agents, in the past have passed up an opportunity to go to Dallas and play with the Dallas Mavericks. Let me get on here and look at some of these comments and see what y'all talking about on the Facebook page. But everybody, for some reason, is just, passing up the opportunity to go to Dallas to play with the Dallas Mavericks. It makes no sense. I don't know what's going on, especially being in a state, like that, Texas, where you don't have any state income tax. No state income tax whatsoever. So that's something that I've been thinking about and something that I feel like needs to change in order for the Dallas Mavericks to win a championship and be a true contender. So those are my thoughts about the Dallas Mavericks signing Luka Doncic to a supermax contract. I like Luka, but I have my questions about whether or not he can win a championship with the Dallas Mavericks. Let's transition to some NFL, and let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. As we all know, Drew Brees retired, this offseason, rolled off into the sunset, first ballot Hall of Famer, won an NFL Super Bowl for the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are starting over at quarterback. So new head coach Sean Payton, he has a decision to make. And basically, he's been talking all offseason long about, the discussion around New Orleans has been who's going to start for the Saints this year. Is it going to be Taysom Hill? Is it going to be Jameis Winston? Who's going to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints this upcoming season? And the Saints, they are a team that's Super Bowl ready. I believe this is a team that is on the brink of possibly getting to a Super Bowl and winning a championship. But they got to figure out what they're going to do at the quarterback position. So the question is, who will be the Saints starting quarterback this year? Will it be Taysom Hill? Will it be Jameis Winston? Now, let's start off with Jameis Winston. Last year, Jameis Winston, he went 7 of 11, threw for 75 yards. He only played in 4 games. But you remember in 2019, he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He gave the new meaning for 30 for 30. He had 33 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. And during his career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jameis Winston, he went 28-42 as a starting quarterback. He completed 61% of his passes, 121 touchdowns, 88 interceptions. Okay. He's 27 years of age. I don't believe we've ever questioned Jameis Winston's ability. Okay. I think he has a strong arm, similar to Ben Roethlisberger, similar to Josh Allen. I believe Jameis Winston has a strong arm and can throw the ball down the field effectively. Okay. I think he has, the skill set to be a solid pocket passer. But what's been the main issue that we've had with Jameis Winston? Main issue that we've had with Jameis Winston is he throws too many interceptions. And that was the biggest issue when he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We saw last year, Tom Brady, he got inserted as a starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they won a Super Bowl. So clearly the issue was Jameis Winston because Jameis can't protect the football. And your number one job as a quarterback is to protect the football. Okay, him throwing 88 interceptions, in his career is unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and you can't win that way. I believe he has the skill set to be a solid quarterback in the NFL, but he can't protect the football. And in order for him to flourish, as a quarterback and lead a team, deep on a playoff run, he has to protect the football. But I do believe Jameis Winston is a better pocket passer than Taysom Hill. Okay, let me get this out there right now. Before I even get into Taysom Hill, I don't believe Taysom Hill is a good pocket passer. Okay, I don't think he is a true thrower of the football like Jameis Winston is. And I don't give a damn how great you can run. I don't care how great you can scramble. I don't care how great your mobility is. The number one job as a quarterback is to throw the ball down the field effectively. Okay. And Taysom Hill just doesn't do that very well. Like, he's 30 years old. We pretty much already know what we get with Taysom Hill. Okay. He's not 21. He's not 23. He's not a project. Taysom Hill is 30 years old. The man is 30 years old. So we know what we're going to get with Taysom Hill. Last year, in 4 games, Taysom Hill had 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, threw 928 passing yards. He went 3-1 in Drew Brees' absence in those games. But in 2 of those 4 games, they played the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons defense is atrocious. I could go out there and throw for at least 150 yards on the Atlanta Falcons defense, okay? They are awful. So I don't believe him throwing, for 4 touchdowns and close to 1,000 passing yards in 4 games last year. I don't believe that is enough to name him your starting quarterback if you're Sean Payton, okay? Also, I believe Jameis Winston clearly has more experience than Taysom Hill. Even though Taysom Hill was 30 years old, Taysom Hill doesn't have the experience that Jameis Winston has, okay? So that's another, point that I give towards Jameis Winston earning this starting job. And also, Jameis Winston, he gives you more opportunities to stretch the field and throw the ball down the field effectively to receivers like Deontay Harris, Michael Thomas, and he can get his act together. I'm going to talk about him here in a bit. But Traquan Smith, you need to be able to stretch the field if you're going to make a deep playoff run, okay? Jameis Winston gives you that advantage over Taysom Hill. I think last year there was a game where Taysom Hill, he played in a game against the Denver Broncos. I remember Denver Broncos, I think both of their quarterbacks at the time, Drew Lock, they caught COVID. So they had to put a receiver at quarterback. And Taysom Hill didn't play much better in that game. Like, I haven't been very impressed with Taysom Hill. He was awful, in that game against the Denver Broncos. I just don't trust him as a passer. So when you ask the question, who should be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, I believe it should be Jameis Winston. I just think Jameis Winston gives you the best chance to win. And I think this Saints team, when you got a running back, like Alvin Kamara, you have an elite receiver when he's healthy in Michael Thomas. You got a Super Bowl caliber coach in Sean Payton. You got an elite defense. I believe you need to give the quarterback, the job who puts your team in the best position to win. And I believe that's Jameis Winston. Give me your thoughts. Who should be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints? Should it be Jameis Winston? Should it be Taysom Hill? What do y'all believe? Give me your opinion on that. New Orleans is in trouble. My man Brian Snow is on here. Main issue with Jameis, the side of turnovers. He plays scared. I understand that, Brian. That's my big bro right there. Go and watch Snowman in the morning as well. I understand what he's saying in that aspect. I just think Jameis gives you the best chance to win with Taysom Hill. But I do believe the Saints Super Bowl window, because they have these options at quarterback, I think their Super Bowl window is closed. I do. I think they had their opportunities, in previous years, in the playoffs. In 2017, they got, to the divisional round of the playoffs. And y'all remember they had that debacle at the end of that game where they lost to Stephon Diggs and the Minnesota Vikings. It was the Minnesota Miracle. It was absolutely crazy. Drew Brees had a chance to win his second Super Bowl. That year it didn't happen. That was in 2017. And you remember in 2018, they got to the NFC Championship game, and you had the offensive pass interference that wasn't called, and the Saints went on to overtime, and they lost to the Rams in overtime in New Orleans. So they came up short that year, even though that year I believe they would have had an opportunity to beat the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. And then you go to 2019, they had a letdown against Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins won his first playoff game in his career. In New Orleans again, they lost 26-20. In that game, they were favored. So the Saints, have had opportunities to get to the Super Bowl and finally get over that hump, and it just has not happened. Last year, y'all remember Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they beat the New Orleans Saints in the divisional round of the playoffs in New Orleans again. So they've had a lot of losses, in New Orleans, at the Superdome. Why Drew Brees was the quarterback of that team. You take Drew Brees off that team now that he's retired, I believe the Saints Super Bowl window has closed. But I do believe they have an elite team. I just got questions about their quarterback play. You have to be able to have elite quarterback play to win a Super Bowl. And because they don't have that right now, I think they're going to struggle. Let's transition to another issue going on right now with the Saints. And let's talk about Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, the reports from New Orleans that he ignored calls from coaches for 3 months. And this was during his off-season rehab. Y'all know he got injured in game 1 last year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he tried to come back from his injury, but they ended up putting him on IR. And reportedly, Sean Payton and the staff in New Orleans, they wanted Michael Thomas to get surgery. Michael Thomas said he was going to rehab, and it didn't work out because he still was injured, once training camp opened up. And Sean Payton, he voiced his frustrations with this situation involving Michael Thomas. This is Sean Payton. He said, quote, "Obviously, we would have liked the surgery to have happened earlier than later. And quite honestly, it should have." And then a couple of days ago on Twitter, Michael Thomas, he put up a post and it read, quote, "They tried to damage your reputation. You saved theirs by not telling your side of the story." So there is some issues going on right now between Michael Thomas and the New Orleans Saints. So let me start off by saying, first of all, we've all been in toxic relationships, okay? This is a toxic relationship with Michael Thomas and New Orleans Saints. And last year, y'all remember Michael Thomas, he got into a fight in practice, and he got into a fight with the DB. He cursed out Sean Payton, and he goes home. They suspend him 1 game check. They also recommended him getting counseling and, being able to control his anger a little bit better. This is what happened last year with the New Orleans Saints. This is fresh off a season where Michael Thomas, in 2019, Michael Thomas, he had 149 receptions, over 1,700 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns. He was absolutely sensational. And at the time, there were folks arguing with me that, oh, Michael Thomas is better than Devontae Adams. People said that. There were people that said Michael Thomas is better than Devontae Adams. Michael Thomas was elite in 2019. Okay. He had a rough year in 2020. And that's what I'm talking about now. But again, he got a new contract in July. Okay. He signed a new contract. He signed a 5-year, $100 million new deal. And he got a new extension, so he played well in 2019, but 2020 was a disaster, getting into the fight, cursing out Sean Payton, and so forth. So last year was a disaster for Michael Thomas. And I believe the situation that's going on right now with Michael Thomas, it's not something that just came about. I believe this has been brewing, since the beginning of last year. I don't believe Michael Thomas trusts the Saints medical staff, and I think that's why he was a bit truculent and, a bit dismissive in the offseason and not getting surgery. I believe he believes that he can rehab this injury and return back to the field. But Sean Payton and the medical staff feel different. They feel like, hey, you're on the contract. We want you to get the surgery immediately. They probably wanted Michael Thomas to get this surgery in the immediate aftermath of losing the playoff game to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because once Michael Thomas returned back to the lineup last year, he was a shell of himself. He was awful in the playoff game. I don't even believe he even had a catch in the divisional round playoff game against the Bucks. I don't think he had a catch. Somebody look that up for me, let me know. I don't think he had a catch. But it's toxic right now. It's toxic, but it's been brewing for a while. And I'm a believer that I believe that players should get second opinions. Whenever players get injured, they should get second opinions. I'm going to talk about Kawhi Leonard here in a bit, which y'all saw last year in the postseason. Kawhi Leonard got injured, and there are reports out of LA that it's a possibility that Kawhi Leonard may return to the floor. So Kawhi Leonard and his camp, they were being told by the Clippers medical staff that that injury wasn't as significant as he thought it was. Kawhi goes, gets a second opinion, and they diagnose him with a partially torn ACL. And there's issues with Kawhi and the medical staff and with the Clippers. We'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. But I believe players, when they get injured, I believe they should get a second opinion, okay? Because the employees that are on the medical staff for these particular teams, they are employed by the team. The Saints medical staff, they are employed by the Saints. So they are giving information in the best interest of the New Orleans Saints. And if you are a player, you have to basically put yourself first and make sure that your health is your number one priority, because we know the team wants to win. So the team, they wanted Michael Thomas to get offseason surgery immediately. And they felt like, hey, we just gave you a new contract. You damn well better get surgery ASAP, because we need you back on the field when training camp starts back up. So I believe players should get second opinions, but I believe in this situation, you can make a legitimate argument that Michael Thomas made a mistake and he didn't judge the situation the right way. Like, you took all that time in the offseason and you didn't return calls back to Sean Payton and the coaching staff. That's unacceptable. Like, that's unacceptable. Like, you have to return calls back to Sean Payton at least, even if you're not going to get surgery. At least answer the phone and say, hey, Saints, I'm not getting surgery. I'm enjoying my offseason. Leave me the hell alone. I'll see you when training camp starts. To completely ghost the Saints organization and Sean Payton, I believe that was the wrong move by Michael Thomas. Okay. And again, last year he had 40 receptions, 438 receiving yards. He didn't have a good season last year. And right now, Sean Payton has enough on his plate. Okay. He has to figure out who's going to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Is it going to be Taysom Hill? Is it going to be Jameis Winston? Adding this Michael Thomas situation, that already brings you to believe the Saints are going to struggle this year. They're going to struggle this year. Okay, when I look at this NFC South, I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the NFC South. Okay, you got the Atlanta Falcons with Matty Ice. We'll see what they do. Okay, but I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the South. I really do. I don't believe in Carolina. I got to see what Sam Darnold going to do with the Panthers. But right now, I would say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the clear-cut favorites in the NFC South, because I'm not sure about the Saints quarterback situation, and I don't know how this situation is going to turn out with Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is $35 million against the cap, so it's going to be tough for the Saints to re-sign him. It's going to be tough for them to re-sign him. We'll see how this situation plays out, but he's going to miss the beginning of the season because he's going to get surgery and he's going to be out for possibly the first month and a half of the season. And with them already having a quarterback competition, even when he returns back to the field, I'm sure Michael Thomas is going to be a little bit irritated because he has to deal with Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill as being his quarterback, in the foreseeable future. He's used to having Drew Brees throwing the football. And now that Drew Brees is retired, it's an issue for Michael Thomas. Everybody remember to follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. Be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. You are live here with Trey Larkins of the Wise Guys Sports Show. I'm in here by myself today. You in the house with your boys. So let's get into some NBA. And let's talk about NBA free agency. Who were the biggest winners in NBA free agency? Who were the biggest losers? Who was the most underrated signing in the NBA in free agency? Let's start off with the biggest winners in free agency. Obviously, y'all know I like the Lakers moves. Bringing in Wayne Ellington, bringing in Kent Bazemore, signing my man Carmelo Anthony. You know, Melo finally is going to have an opportunity to win a championship. I love the fact that Melo and LeBron are finally paired together. And this will be Melo's best chance at winning the NBA championship. We talk about Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, you know, when he's healthy, okay, he's a top 5 player in the NBA. Make no mistake about it. Anthony Davis is big time. Now, he had a bad year last year, okay? I expect Anthony Davis to have a bounce back season. Matter of fact, I'll go out on the limb. I expect Anthony Davis to be a candidate for NBA MVP. You have to write it down. Anthony Davis will be an NBA MVP candidate this year. I was disappointed in what I saw last year in Anthony Davis. I was very disappointed in him last year. Okay? Like, we saw last year, the Joker. He won NBA MVP. The Joker isn't better than Anthony Davis when he's healthy. Okay? Joel Embiid. I love Joel Embiid. Okay? But Joel Embiid is not on Anthony Davis' level. Anthony Davis, when he's healthy, is the best big man in the NBA. I'm going to say it again. Anthony Davis is the best big man in the NBA when he's healthy. So I believe Anthony Davis will be an NBA MVP candidate next year. You got Russell Westbrook, who had his introductory press conference yesterday. We'll see how that coexists with LeBron and Russell Westbrook. We got to see if Russ is going to buy in to playing off ball at times. He can't play out of control with this Lakers team. But we're talking about free agents, right? Get back to that. Wayne Ellington, Kent Bazemore, okay? These are shooters for the Lakers. They all shot over 40% last year, all right? Clippers. I love the fact they was able to bring back Reggie Jackson. They brought back Reggie Jackson on a 2-year, $22 million deal, okay? We saw Reggie Jackson make some big-time shots for the Clippers on their playoff run last year, getting them to the Western Conference Finals. So I really, really like them bringing back Reggie Jackson. I think he's a key contributor for the Los Angeles Clippers. They also signed Justice Winslow, and I think Justice Winslow is another perimeter player that can help the Clippers as well. Even the New York Knicks, you know, they brought in Kemba Walker. I think the terms on this deal, they signed him to a 2-year, $18 million new deal. If Kemba Walker can stay healthy and his knees don't give out, I think Kemba Walker can be a nice contributor on the New York Knicks. I really believe so. They brought in Evan Fournier. You know, he played with the Boston Celtics last year. I think he came over via trade from the Orlando Magic, if I'm not mistaken. So they signed Evan Fournier. They signed Kemba Walker. They brought back Derrick Rose as well. So I like Derrick Rose on that team. You know, you got young players like Julius Randle, you know, like RJ Barrett. I like this Knicks core. They still are a few pieces away from winning the championship, but I like their core. We know Tom Thibodeau, he preaches defense. So I like the free agents that they added as well. So I like the Knicks, Clippers, and Lakers moves. But the biggest winner in free agency was the Chicago Bulls. Okay? The Bulls pulling off a sign and trade for DeMar DeRozan and getting him to sign a 3-year, $85 million new deal, pairing him up with Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine, ladies and gentlemen, he averaged 27 points per game last season. And I know the Chicago Bulls didn't make the playoffs, but Zach LaVine, with his athleticism, been able to get to the rim, you know, been able to score at a high rate. I like the pairing of DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. All right. they also picked up Lonzo Ball from New Orleans Pelicans. And in the past, I've been very critical of Lonzo Ball because I don't believe Lonzo Ball has been assertive enough on the offensive side of the floor. We see players in the NBA, you have to be able to be aggressive and create your own shot. We know Lonzo Ball is a tremendous passer. He's one of the best passers in the NBA. Okay, he's a great distributor of the basketball. But you need Lonzo to score the ball as well, at least be a threat. Okay, there were times in previous years in his career, I felt like Lonzo wasn't aggressive enough. But last year, he did average 14 points per game. He shot 37% from three-point range. So Lonzo improved on his three-point shooting. So I like Lonzo, DeMar, and Zach LaVine, as a three-guard system in Chicago. They got Billy Donovan as head coach. Now, a lot of people, they don't really believe in Billy Donovan as an NBA coach. He's proven as a college coach. We know he won championships at the University of Florida. But I like this Bulls team. I really do. I think they're a bit undersized, but I like this Bulls team. I really, really do. Like, this is the potential Bulls starting five. Y'all ready for this? You got, where's that? You got Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, and Nikola Vucevic. Nikola Vucevic, he can get you 20 a night. I like Nikola Vucevic. Maybe I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but I like Vucevic. He can get you 20 a night. Okay? So I like this Bulls team. In the Eastern Conference, it all starts with the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending NBA champions, and the Brooklyn Nets. That's where it starts. Okay? But then after that, those second-tier teams, I believe the Chicago Bulls can be in that second tier, okay, with the Miami Heat, okay? Miami, I put Miami right there too. I think Chicago, they're on their level. They own their level. I like the Chicago Bulls. I really do. They're not on the same level as the Brooklyn Nets or the Milwaukee Bucks, but I believe they can be a second-tier team in the Eastern Conference. Can they be a top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference? I say yes. I believe the Bulls, they're better right now. Right now, Bulls, they're better than the Atlanta Hawks, New York Knicks, and the Pacers. Give me the Bulls over all three of those teams. Give me the Bulls over the Hawks, Knicks, Pacers right now. I love this three-guard system that Billy Donovan has to work with Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Lonzo Ball. Okay? I really, really do. And also, an underrated signing for the Chicago Bulls. People forgot about Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso is a very underrated signing. He really is. We know he can hit perimeter shots. Okay? He's a decent perimeter defender. LeBron loved playing with Caruso with the Lakers. So I like Caruso with this Bulls team. The Lakers had an opportunity to match the offer that the Bulls gave him. They declined. So you add Caruso to this team, off the bench as another body. I like the Chicago Bulls in the Eastern Conference, ladies and gentlemen. I really, really do. I really do. Now, you know that Miami, they picked up Kyle Lowry. In the offseason. And, give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Start this up so it don't die. Sorry about that. I had to plug up the computer, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that dead air. But look, we're back. So the Miami Heat, they picked up Kyle Lowry in free agency. Major pickup for the Miami Heat. Major pickup. I love that signing. Them being able to bring him in. I love that. Okay. They also signed PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker, he gives you that toughness, and he is the perfect player in that culture with the Miami Heat and Pat Riley and their exposure. Okay. PJ Tucker, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, they are perfect pieces for this Miami Heat team, and they're perfect for that culture. So I like what Pat Riley is building down there in South Beach. We all know South Beach is a wonderful place to travel to. Okay. So it ain't too hard to get free agents to sign with the Miami Heat. Okay. Let's just be quite frank, because players love being down there on Ocean Drive and having an opportunity to compete for a championship, because we know Mickey Harrison, the owner for the Miami Heat, Pat Riley, they know how to build a championship contender. They've won championships. They won championships with D Wade and Shaq in 06. They won a championship, when they had the big three and Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, LeBron James. So they win championships in Miami. Make no mistake about it. That is a championship organization. I like Kyle Lowry being added to what they already have built in Miami. I really, really do. So he's my underrated signing out of everyone. That's the most underrated signing out of all the free agent signings. I love Kyle Lowry going to the Miami Heat. They also brought back Victor Oladipo. They brought back Victor Oladipo on a 1-year prove-it deal. So if Victor Oladipo isn't healthy and he doesn't produce, you can get it off him after this year. So we'll see if he can get back to playing at an elite level. But I like the moves that they have made for the Miami Heat. We'll see what they have in store for us. I like Miami. I like Chicago better than I like the Knicks, Hawks, and Pacers. But I like all those teams in that second tier. And if the Bulls, after what we saw this year, you never know what can happen in the postseason. You don't know what can happen, okay? An injury here or there, and the Bulls could be in the Eastern Conference Finals and possibly get to an NBA championship. They could possibly get to a final. We'll see what happens. Let's transition back to some NFL, and let's talk about Josh Allen. As the Buffalo Bills, they recently signed Josh Allen to a new 6-year, $258 million new deal. He got 150 guaranteed. So Josh Allen is now going to be a part of the Bills long term. So question here is, did the Bills, did they commit to Josh Allen too soon? Let's talk about that. All right. I don't believe the Bills committed to Josh Allen too soon. I believe in Josh Allen. Okay. I believe Josh Allen has a higher ceiling than Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson. But now y'all gonna be like, what? Whoa, Lamar won MVP in 2019. He broke the rushing yards record, of all time. Lamar Jackson, what? I'm not saying that Josh Allen is better than Lamar Jackson. Okay. I'm not saying that. Not yet. But I believe Josh Allen has a higher ceiling than Lamar Jackson. Okay. He's a better pure pocket passer than Lamar Jackson is. So I think we know Lamar's a better playmaker, but Josh Allen has a great arm. He has a cannon for arm. All right. But when you look at Josh Allen in his 3 years as being a starter for the Buffalo Bills, I believe in Josh Allen, but I understand why some people would say that they committed to Josh Allen too soon, because he's only been the quarterback for 3 years, and he's only had one great season. One great season. That was this past year. He was second in NFL MVP voting behind Aaron Rodgers. But in 2018, his rookie year, he had 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, threw for over 2,000 passing yards. We weren't impressed. 2019, he had 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, threw for over 3,000 passing yards. He was better in his second season than he was in his first season. But I remember seeing him unrattle in the playoff game against Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. You know, and y'all remember the Buffalo Bills? They've been in the playoffs the last 2 years under Sean McDermott. Josh Allen got the Bills to the postseason in his second year, and he unrattled in that playoff game. Like, he just was just all over the place. You could tell the moment was too big for him. So you can make a legitimate argument that Josh Allen has only had one great season in 3 years. He had 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, threw for close to over 4,500 passing yards last year, got the Bills to an AFC Championship game. And he's the first player with over 4,500 passing yards and 35 passing touchdowns and 5 rushing touchdowns in one single season. So I like Josh Allen. He has tremendous upside. But there's 2 other quarterbacks who we had more, evidence as to why they need to get paid than Josh Allen. There are 2 other quarterbacks that we had more evidence when they got paid that they were going to produce after they were signed to their big-time contract. It's Patrick Mahomes and it's Dak Prescott, okay? This was career numbers at the time of the contract extension. Let's start off with Patrick Mahomes, okay? Patrick Mahomes, passing touchdowns per game. He had 2.5 touchdowns per game. Patrick Mahomes, 303 passing yards per game. This is at the time of the contract extension. 303 passing yards per game. He had 76 touchdowns to 18 interceptions. This is Patrick Mahomes. Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott had 255 passing yards per game. He had 106 touchdowns, 40 interceptions at the time of your contract extension. Let's talk about Josh Allen, what his numbers are at the time of his. 220 passing yards per game, 67 touchdowns to 31 interceptions. And he had a touchdown and a half per game. So Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott, they were more proven at the time when they got signed to their new contract extensions. So I believe in Josh Allen, but I understand why you have individuals who believe that Josh Allen got paid too soon. And maybe they should have been a little bit more patient and seen if he's going to put together another great season like he did in 2020. But he was outstanding in 2020. He was great. But, we'll see what happens moving forward. I like him. I think he can really play at a high level. Now, it was something else that bothered me after Josh Allen signed his new deal. I was listening to Colin Cowherd on the Herd. Y'all know he's on FS1. He's always talking the latest in sports news as well. And Colin said that Josh Allen is a stronger, bigger player than Deshaun Watson. This was Colin Cowherd on the Herd. He believes that Josh Allen is better than Deshaun Watson. So Colin Cowherd needs to be drug tested, okay? Needs to be drug tested because Deshaun Watson is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And unlike Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson, even last year, in a down year, he had 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, threw for close to 5,000 passing yards with nobodies on Houston Texans. Nobodies. DeAndre Hopkins is in Arizona now. Okay? Deshaun Watson has been absolutely sensational since he's been in the NFL. He's led the Texans to the postseason 2 out of the 4 years he's been the quarterback. He's never had an elite coach like Josh Allen has in Sean McDermott. I think Sean McDermott is a great coach. I really, really do.